Listen closely, because this 911 call contains one detail that the crime scene proves is impossible. And once you catch it, you'll only have two options. Either the caller lied, or someone else was inside that house. Tonight, I'm breaking down a US case told exactly like a real investigation. The call, the timeline, the evidence, and the one sentence that makes the whole story collapse. And at the end, I want your theory, because this one turns viewers into detectives. It's a weeknight in a quiet American suburb. The kind of neighborhood where porch lights stay on, and the loudest thing you usually hear is a dog barking 2 streets away. At the end of a small cul-de-sac is a rental house. Inside is a woman in her late 20s. We'll call her Maya. Maya's not the reckless type. Friends describe her as cautious. She double-checks locks. She doesn't open doors to strangers. She doesn't like feeling exposed. That's important because what happens next doesn't match her personality at all. Around 11:40 p.m., Maya hears a sharp sound from the back of the house. She freezes. Then she hears something else. And instead of checking it herself, she does what most people would do if they felt genuinely unsafe. She calls 911. "Hello, this is 911. Can you tell me what's happening?" Maya's voice is shaky. She's trying to whisper, but panic keeps slipping through. Maya says, "Hi, someone's trying to get into my house. I heard glass." The dispatcher asks for her address. She gives it. The dispatcher says, "Okay, take a breath. Are you alone?" Maya says, "Yes, I'm in the bedroom. The door is locked." Dispatcher, "Do you see anyone?" Maya, "No, but I heard them. I think they're inside." Dispatcher, "What makes you think they're inside?" Maya says, "I can hear footsteps in the kitchen." And then she adds one tiny detail. Footsteps on the tile. In the kitchen. Footstep on the tile. In the kitchen. It's such a normal sentence that you almost don't notice it. But that line is the entire reason this case becomes a nightmare. Because when police arrive, they learn something that turns that sentence into a problem. Officers get there fast, within minutes. Outside, everything is still. No running footsteps, no yelling, no car peeling away. They check the front of the home. Front door is locked. No damage. They check windows. From the street, they look intact. Then they move toward the back of the house. Back door is shut. Not cracked open. Not kicked in. No splinter. But nearby, they spot a low window close to the ground. It's shattered. Glass is scattered outside and inside. It looks like forced entry. Officers enter, announce themselves, sweep the rooms, and find Maya in the bedroom live, shaken and still on the phone. They escort her outside. Paramedics check her, and investigators begin what should be a simple process. Find the entry point. Track movement through the home. Figure out where the intruder went. But the scene doesn't behave like a normal break. And then they go into the kitchen because Maya said she heard footsteps in the kitchen, footsteps on tile. And that's when the entire story breaks. Investigators step into the kitchen, and the first thing they notice is there is no tile, not a strip, not a patch, not a section near the sink. The kitchen floor is carpet, wall-to-wall carpet, same as the living room. So now investigators have a serious problem, because Maya didn't say, "I heard footsteps." She said, "I heard footsteps on the tile," but there is no tile in the kitchen. And it gets worse. The carpet is clean. No muddy prints, no crushed fibers, no debris trail. And near the broken window where an intruder would likely step through, there's no clear path of disturbed carpet moving deeper into the house. It's like the window broke. But the intruder movement doesn't match what Maya described. So the case stops being about who broke in and becomes something more unsettling. Did someone break in at all the way Maya says? Or is Maya describing something she didn't actually experience? Because in real investigations, when one detail doesn't match, it's not just a mistake. Sometimes it's the first crack in the whole story. In cases like this, investigators usually sort explanations into 3 buckets, and none of them are comfortable. The simplest explanation is that Maya was terrified. Adrenaline can distort perception. Your brain fills in blanks. You can hear something real, but label it wrong. Maybe she heard footsteps and assumed tile because tile footsteps are loud and sharp. But here's the issue. Carpet doesn't sound like tile. Carpet muffles. So investigators would ask, if she heard sharp, clear footsteps, where could that sound actually come from? And the layout matters, because there is tile in the house, just not in the kitchen. The bathroom down the hall has tile. So one possibility is this: Maya heard movement near the bathroom or hallway, and, in panic, she mislocated it as the kitchen. That's possible. But it doesn't explain everything. Because if someone was inside, where are the signs? Where's the trail? Where's the exit route? Second possibility, Maya described what a kitchen should have. A lot of kitchens have tile. So if you're panicking and your brain is grabbing details, tile kitchen is an easy assumption. But again, there's a problem. If Maya lives there, even recently, wouldn't she know her own kitchen floor? It's not a small detail. It's literally under your feet every day. So investigators would start asking questions that sound simple but matter a lot. How long have you lived here? Have you had a previous home with tile? Did you walk into the kitchen earlier tonight? Are you sure you were home the entire time. Because if her description is generic, it can mean confusion, or it can mean she's trying to sound believable. And then there's the darkest bucket. What if the break-in and the call were staged? People stage incidents for reasons: to cover an argument, to explain injuries, to redirect suspicion, to create an unknown intruder story. And staging can be surprisingly easy at a surface level. You can break a window. You can scatter glass. You can act scared. But staging has a weakness. It's hard to fake tiny sensory details under pressure, especially on a recorded 911 call, because those details are where reality leaks through. And footsteps on tile in the kitchen is exactly that kind of detail. It's casual, specific, and it's either true or it isn't. So investigators would ask, if she staged it, why choose a detail that can be disproven by walking into the kitchen? Unless she genuinely believed the kitchen had tile. Which leads to an even creepier question. Was she actually in that house the whole time? Or was someone else involved? And the story got messy. Here's the part viewers don't always see. Real cases aren't solved by dramatic speeches. They're solved by boring details that don't lie. Investigators would zoom in on things like first-class behavior. Is the break pattern consistent with something thrown from outside? Or could it have been broken from inside? Second glass scatter. Where is most of the glass? Outside heavy scatter can suggest one thing. Inside heavy scatter can suggest another. Third call, timing. How fast did Maya call after the glass sound? Immediate panic calls feel different than delayed calls. Fourth sound testing. Tile footsteps have a crisp click that carries. Carpet doesn't. Investigators might literally recreate walking patterns in the home. And fifth, movement logic. If an intruder entered through that low window, how did they move through the house without leaving obvious disturbance? And the biggest question of all, if someone was inside, where did they go? Because in this story, police don't find a clear exit route, no open door, no broken latch, no obvious trail. So we're left with a mystery that splits into two reality. Reality A. An intruder was present, but the sound location was misunderstood. Reality B. The call narrative doesn't match the physical truth. And that's why this case sticks with you. So here's the core of it. Maya tells 911 she hears footsteps on tile in the kitchen. But the kitchen is carpet. That single mismatch is the kind of thing investigators obsess over because it's the difference between panic and performance. Now it's your turn. What's your theory? Was it stress and confusion, a wrong assumption, or a staged call? Drop your answer in the comments as stress, assumption, or staged, and add one sentence explaining why. And if you want part 2 where we build the most likely timeline, minutes prescribe, and comment the word timeline. Thanks for watching. And remember, in true crime, the smallest detail is usually the loudest.